Guys, today
fatality.
is brisket day. Finally, I'm gonna show you guys how to cook a basic brisket. It's not that hard, but online all the time, whether it be on YouTube or Reddit or Facebook, this meat seems to be the one that stumps everybody. And I get it, as a beginning pitmaster, I felt the same way, but really when you get down to the basics, it's not really that hard. And I'm gonna teach you the basics today.
Now, first things first, you've got to trim your brisket. I just did a whole video on trimming, so I'm gonna skip all that, but I am gonna link it down below. Now make sure your brisket is face down. We're gonna hit it with some all-purpose rub. If you can't grab that, go ahead and use salt and pepper. Now get the back and then make sure that you get all 4 of the sides before you flip it over and then hit the top. You can use a binder on your meat here. If you do, I would maybe use an oil, but you don't need to. Rest your meat afterwards, give it about a half an hour, and it's gonna draw that moisture out, and that moisture is gonna hold the rub to the meat. It'll stick just fine. Now that you have your base coating down, flip them back over so that they're fat cap up. We're gonna hit them with a little bit of our barbecue rub, and I know that some purists are gonna crap on me for this, but it's gonna deepen the color, it's gonna add a richness of pepper notes, and it's gonna make your bark really good. So go light here, you don't have to do much. Again, make sure that you get all of your surface. And again, you can hate on me in the comments all you want to, but I sell a lot of brisket. I'm telling you, you're not gonna regret this decision. Now this is all the prep that we're going to do for these basic briskets. If you learn how the meat works, you don't have to do a bunch of injections and such to get a great deep beef flavor that you can enjoy at home. Now I really want the salt and pepper to pop in this, so I'm going to go ahead and add one more light layer of AP rub. Totally optional, that's just how I want it. Now patience is key with your brisket. Get your smoker fired up to 225 and prepare to chill the F out. Relax, enjoy the weather, your family, a beer, whatever. You're going to be in this for the long haul. Now for this video, I'm going to use this Pit Boss Copperhead XL because it's easy, and that's what we're doing today. Easy. I've got some pans in here to catch my drippings because this son of a bee will catch fire if grease gets in this firebox. Now we're using probe thermometers, so we're going to be able to see the internal temperature and we're not going to waste a bunch of time walking back and forth, but we're going to come back in a few hours and check it out.
Alright guys, so I've had this meat in the smoker for several hours now. We're looking at about 6 hours this has been in the smoker, and it's kind of stalled around 155. So you really have 2 options when it stalls. You just let it sit, you let it go. At this point we haven't wrapped, so we could go ahead and wrap it, and that'll help kind of boost it past that stall. Now typically you're gonna see a stall somewhere between like 155 and 175. It's nothing to be alarmed at. You can just keep doing what you're doing, be patient. In this instance, since we haven't wrapped yet, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it.
So now there are a couple of things you need to look at before you decide to wrap your meat. You need to check the color of your meat. You're looking for this color here. A common misconception is that burning the outside of your brisket is good bark. That's ridiculous. You're looking for a deep mahogany color. At this point, you'll notice that the outside has really firmed up, it's starting to dry out. This meat is not going to take any more smoke. So we're good to go ahead and wrap it. Now normally I would choose to wrap these in foil over butcher paper, but since I'm already using these pans as drip pans, I'm going to go ahead and toss my brisket in these. The wind sounded rough AF, so we'll stick with the voiceover. Now you can use butcher paper if you like, but as a beginner, I'd stay away from that so you can add moisture into your mixture. Now this moisture is a mix of 2 cups of water, a heaping tablespoon of beef base, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. However you wrap it, make sure that you wrap it tight. You want all of the rendered fat and your mop to stay in the wrap. Now again, some people are going to hate on me for telling you to use moisture in your wrap, but those people are probably not making good brisket. The only person you're cheating by not cheating is the people eating your food. Now I'm going to go ahead and toss my probe back in and play some Zelda, but if you don't have a probe, you should check this about every hour from this point. I would suggest checking it every hour to hour and a half anyway through the whole process. So it's about 3 hours later, my brisket has hit 205, which is where I want it to be, and I've tossed my flat into the cold oven to rest. The oven holds heat great, and it's an excellent place to rest your meat. You can also wrap it in a towel, toss it in a cooler, whatever. Now grab your point. Throw it onto your cutting board, and at this point we're going to make roughly 2-inch slices. The end goal here is to have a 2x2 square. The next step here is going to be to grab your favorite sweet sauce, and normally I would just use mine, but I didn't realize it's out until a few minutes before, so I went to the store and grabbed some Rufus Teague sweet sauce. It's pretty good. Mix it in with the juices in your pan until you have the consistency of a thin sauce. Then grab your brush, line up your pieces, liberally saucing them as you do. Remember, there's no mistakes, only happy little burn ends. JK, you can definitely ruin these, but not really at this point. Once you're done, bump your smoker temperature up to 300 and toss your burn ends in for about another 30 to 45 minutes. Now we're going to hop back to our flat, which has rested for about 90 minutes at this point. Now there are people who are going to tell you need to let it rest for hours, and I guess you can do that if you want, but I don't notice anything different, and I've literally cooked thousands of briskets. So now you'll notice as we put it down here, it's got that nice jiggle. It's got a beautiful, deep, dark mahogany bark. It not only looks great, it's going to taste great. It's not burnt, it's straight flavor. Now we're going to find that marker we put in here earlier, and we're going to go ahead and get to slicing. You'll want to keep your pieces about as thick as a pencil. And as I'm cutting this, I just want you to look in the background here and notice all that delicious juice that's in the pan. Now, I'm going to grab this super thick piece at the end just so I can super flex on how well this is cooked and how easily it's going to just pull apart. Check this out. Bam, son. That's exactly how it's supposed to be done, and it is so good. It's got such a deep, rich beef flavor to it. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to want to see that bend. Check that out. Perfect. Now, if we look close here, we can see how that fat between the fibers is rendered out. You're not going to get a better cooked brisket, I don't think. Now, especially not for a beginner level cook. Now, I'm also going to suggest that you take all of that meat that you just sliced up and you toss it right back into your juice pan and let people serve themselves from it. It's going to get that last bit of good juice onto that meat. That juice is also great for like brisket gravy if you're having mashed potatoes or something with it. Don't waste that juice. It's good stuff. You can make a lot of sauces from it. Now originally I was going to cut this part, but I mean look at all this juice. This is just from the flat. That's like the thinnest fat part of the meat. It's not the point where all the fat and the juice usually is. That is straight off the flat. Look at that. I'm just going to have to toot my own horn like Arn Anderson and give a little toot-toot right here.
Guys, here it is. The perfect beginner burnt ends. Look at those. Got a great bark on them. Sucking, look at the juices dripping off of them. That's hot, but I'm gonna have to try one. Let me try a smaller one because they're toasty. Wow, you can't beat that, guys. It's literally that simple to be like a king at your own house. It's just patience. Pretty much the man right now. Literally the man. I mean, go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and put up the end screens right here, but I'm just gonna call myself the man over and over again. Like Ric Flair, you know what I'm saying? Woo, the man.